This is, by its very nature, going to be an extremely subjective conversation. Does anybody remember the Renault Fuego? It's funny what pops into your mind. If you don't hold on to that thought, it just goes. And something that did pop into my mind was, what is a luxury watch? What is the definition of a luxury watch? I have my own opinion. I've formed that over the last couple of years. I do have a rough idea, a ceiling for myself of what a luxury watch is. Let's have a discussion, and do feel free to leave your own comments, because it'd be very interesting to find out the general view of what a luxury watch is. For many people in the world, possibly 4 billion, just having a watch is a luxury. Any watch, something on their wrist that tells the time. They probably have a mobile phone, but they may not have a watch. And for me, before I started collecting watches, I had quartz watches, Citizen Eco drives, basically. And the idea of any automatic watch, a little Seiko 5, an automatic watch that just wound itself while it's on your wrist every day through the movement of your wrist, that is an unbelievable little machine that I would have classed as a luxury, just any little automatic watch. But as you go through time, obviously, and everybody who will be watching this and other watch channels, they know a thing or two about watches. And you realise that there are different tiers and levels of quality and what you would call luxury, what you would define as luxury. I really got to thinking about this after reading comments on a few of my last videos. A full spectrum of comments about some of the Chinese AliExpress watches being a load of rubbish, other people saying that they were all you needed, some comments on my State of the Collection video basically implied that unless you've got a Rolex or an Omega, you don't have a luxury watch. I don't agree with that at all. Some people will think that. We'll just continue to look at a few key areas now in this debate. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you like it, and also hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I release future videos. What is a luxury watch? Well, is it the timekeeping? I don't know if it is. Timekeeping wise, I have some cheaper Japanese movements that, if they're properly regulated, keep the best time of any watch that I have. I'm currently not wearing, hold on, I bought this little Fortis watch for pennies really on eBay, vintage. I've had some comments that it might be a fake, but it does have a Fortis movement, and I can tell you that whoever's regulated this watch, this keeps impeccable time. It hasn't broken yet. So timekeeping may not be the factor. I have a Glycine, a Swiss watch, Swiss through and through really, that runs 15 seconds a day fast. That did surprise me. I was a bit disappointed with that. Can be regulated. But would you class that as a luxury watch? I have a 14-year-old Breitling, CUSC certified, that does keep excellent time. That's an ETA movement, a 2824 modified. And that does keep great time. My Pagani Express watches, all with Seiko movements, keep perfect time. So I don't think it's timekeeping. Is it case quality? The bracelet, the case, the crystal, the bezel. Possibly in the past, but not now. A lot of mainstream manufacturers that charge a lot for their watches have their cases, their packaging made in China, for example, Hong Kong. I have owned Spinnakers that I find are very, very well finished. In fact, faultless. You can't fault them, including the bracelets and the clasps. So I don't think it's the case quality, the bracelet. I do find that the Grand Seiko bracelets are a cut above. The way that they're polished, the feel in the hand, they've got a rubbery feel to the steel, and it's definitely a luxurious feeling I have found with Grand Seikos. I've handled a few. And the weight as well. If you hold a Grand Seiko, even a quartz, it has a weight to it. It is definitely a sign of quality. So you could say that there are some brands that do give off a vibe of luxury. Is it the dial? No, it's not the dial. We've had quite a few reviews now of the new Erebus Ascent, the Nevada Grenchen that came out last year, even Laurier with their Falcon dial. These dials are exceptional. The handset, the indices. It's not the dial. It's not just the Swiss or the high-end Japanese that can make these amazing dials. Is it the movement? Well, possibly the movement. And how do you define a movement? Well, quality of the build, which you would think in the long run led to accuracy, resilience, and longevity. I would say that, in my experience, an ETA movement that I have in my Breitling has proved to be very long-lived and very accurate. And I know in here that it's been made in the past with extreme care and attention. What about going forward? Well, I have half a dozen Seiko 5s, many of them vintage, 30-40 years old, with the old 6119 movements or the 7009 movements that are still going. These movements are 40 years old. They're still going. They don't have any finishing whatsoever if you were to look at them, but they've proved to be very long. They've proved to be very long-lived. They've proved themselves. They don't have to prove anything now to anybody. They are long-lived. They've done it. So on the basis of resilience, longevity and accuracy, these humble little movements pass all of those tests, but you would never suggest that they were luxury. And then we come to the whole issue of whether a brand has an in-house movement or not. Does that really matter for a luxury brand? If it did matter, you would have Seiko, again, being classed as a luxury brand because they do everything in-house. So that can't be the case. There is a difference though. If you look at some of the German, Swiss brands, Grand Seiko, they do take pride in how they finish their movements. The movements themselves are a joy to look at. The work, the craftsmanship that's gone into making them. You could say that you would definitely say that the movements are high end, extremely high end, and that just goes on and on. From reasonable price points to ridiculous price points. I do think it's a bit like a Toyota and a Lexus. And a Lexus and a Rolls Royce. They do the same thing. You could probably have a perfectly comfortable trip in a Toyota from Edinburgh to London, but it wouldn't be the same as in a Rolls Royce. The Toyota might last longer, but as far as luxury, the definition of luxury is concerned, the timekeeping on a Swiss movement may not be better, but there's just something inside that makes you think, oh, it's got a Swiss movement. So there's a little area there. There's definitely an area where movements are concerned. Is it price? Well, I hope not. I know that you don't have to pay a fortune to get a great watch. I know that. So that's all I'm going to say about price. I don't care about price. Quality is everything. Finally, we come on to brand. and heritage. And that is absolutely something that can't be created overnight. Blancpain, one of the first creator of one of the first dive watches, Zodiac the same, Rolex, and you've got Omega with innovations like their coaxial movement. Even back to the 30s and 40s, every year, Omega. I've got a book about Omega designs, and it's fascinating. Every year there was an improvement in the movements, always striving for perfection. If it wasn't waterproof, water resistance, it was anti-magnetism, it was accuracy. They were entering competitions for movement accuracy. Years ago, they took pride in that. This is a bedrock, a foundation of heritage that you just can't get as a micro brand, for example. And that is worth something. It's worth something. It really is. It might not be worth the price. Well, it definitely isn't worth the price premiums that we're looking at now for retail watches at the luxury end. But it does count for a lot. Now, the other two manufacturers I would put in with this are the Japanese Seiko and Citizen. Japan didn't do much in the way of cars before the 1960s, really. It was a joke. But with watches, Seiko can trace its heritage back to 1881. As many of you will know from previous videos, I am in the process of saving for an Omega Seamaster 300 Heritage. The retail price is between sort of £5,500 and £7,000, and I'm just not sure that even when I've saved this figure, I'm prepared to pay that for a watch when there are so many other options, great options, in the price brackets below that. That is way beyond my ceiling, I think. My definition of a luxury watch is this mid-tier level. Watches like the Black Bay 58, which retail under £4,000, and you can get them for about £2,800 pre-owned. Very good examples. Things like the Nevada Grenchen with a Swiss movement, Solita movement. That brand itself also has incredible heritage. So what's yours? What's your definition of luxury? What's your level? I've found my level. I wouldn't be comfortable paying more than that for a watch. I would never feel happy about it. The opportunity cost, what else could have been, other uses that money could have been put to. And I think for far less than that figure, you can have a timepiece you'd be very proud to own. So let me know in the comments. I do have playlists on my channel now if you want to just binge a little bit on Seikos, for example, or watch collecting as a hobby. A couple of playlists. So thanks for watching. Thanks for staying till the end, and I'll see you in the next one.